What is going on, folks? Welcome to the first of our college football preseason breakdowns. And today we're talking about the Big 12. And today with me, I got Ace with me. So what's going on, Ace?
Nothing much. How about you?
Not much. Let's get right into it. First team up on the list is the West Virginia Mountaineers. Last year they went 6-4. Key games include a home date against Virginia, at Oklahoma, at TCU. So let me start with this. Will the experience at wide receiver help them get back to where they once were?
If we're talking the 2010 teams, yeah, I think they could. But that 4 out of the 5 guys returning this season, that's going to bring up a lot of veteran leadership to that whole team as a whole. And if they can rally the offense with their veteran, mentor them, the younger guys on that squad, that would help bypass, the younger guys' growth period, if you want to say. So they got those other guys who know how to handle tough situations. You'll have a higher chance of not being susceptible to quick late game collapses, if you want to say. So if you
Right.
have that whole veteran leadership there that keeps the guys focused and take another step forward. However, I think they will get slightly underrated by the national media. They won't get a whole lot of media attention considering how packed the Big 12 is, I think, this year on the top with some of those bigger colleges. And with them in Morgantown, not a knock on them or anything, it's going to be hard for them to get their dude recognition if they do when they have success.
Right. Yeah, I think the interesting thing that people need to remember about the West Virginia wide receiving core is, well, first and foremost, this offense outscored opponents 26.5-20 in 2020. I think that's got to get a little bit better. And then also as a whole, the West Virginia wide receivers amassed a total of, and this is through 10 games, 2,775 yards and 16 touchdowns, which has to get better, of course. And I think it will get better as they progress into a new season. I think it's a lot of guys that are still trying to get over, that have to still come in and even leave with a new regime, seeing as though, Dana Holgerson's not there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, it's things like that, of course. But, I mean,
you're talking more analytic style. I'm talking like they're intangibles, but yes, like if both can, if the analytics come and support what they bring in intangible wise, I think they can be pretty good this season.
oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, and I think, of course, with that comes a good quarterback. I think the last quarterback they had that really took them over the top was Will Greer. And when he was in, that offense was humming, not top level, but they were there. The Big 12 was on notice when they had Will Greer throwing it up top to guys and stuff, because he could just dime out of the sky. Like he was that prototypical Big 12 quarterback that came over from the SEC.
Yeah, he was a real slinger.
So yeah, I think when they get that going again, I think that they'll become dangerous again. I mean, I think they're dangerous now, but I think they got to upset somebody somewhere. I think,
but they're gonna be they're not gonna be like a championship contender or anything, but they're gonna be good enough. It's just they won't be viewed by national media or whatever, so they're gonna get knocked or whatever, if you want to say. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that brings us down to the Iowa State Cyclones, who last year impressed a lot of people, and this year might impress a lot of people. Last year they went 9-3. Key games this year: the Cyhawk Trophy on the line at home in Ames against Iowa. They get Oklahoma State at home, and they got a road date with Oklahoma in Norman. So, do you think there's enough there to return to the Big 12 title game and win it?
I think they do. I think they got 20 of them returned.
They had a lot of guys come back.
Yeah, I
They
think a
did.
lot of guys. It's almost only had 2 or 3 of them went or like transferred out or went to the NFL. But I
Yeah.
think they have enough with consistency purposes. I think they're gonna rival for that Big 12 championship again. That game with Oklahoma is gonna probably be telling of how it's gonna play.
Yeah.
But,
I was gonna say, I mean, Brock Purdy's coming back, and so is Brees Hall. And of course, Brees Hall's building on that 1,000-yard season that he had in 2020. He's coming back in 2021. You'd have thought both these guys went to the NFL, but they didn't. So I mean, what's on their mind. A lot of people are going to laugh at it and say it's so far fetched, and it might kind of be. But Brock Purdy and Brees Hall, they realized, hey,
they have an
we
opportunity.
won a fiesta. Say again.
I think they're thinking, yeah, we have that opportunity waiting for us. We have that chance. We're going to take it.
Oh, exactly. I mean, look, you took down one of the more not respected, but one of the more consistent teams in college football in Oregon, and the Fiesta on one of the biggest stages in the Fiesta Bowl. And now you've got a chance to come back and compete for a national title. And it's very possible they could get in, if they do the right things and build on 9-3, they could do some damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
they're going to be making a lot of noise.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of people, I still personally feel like a lot of people are not taking Iowa State seriously. And that's fine. But it would not surprise me again. I'm kind of high on Iowa coming out of the Big Ten this year. That Cy-Hawk trophy is going to mean a lot this year. And that game in Norman is going to mean a lot. If they can go in Norman and knock off Spencer Rattler in Oklahoma, there's a strong chance.
For a national championship, yep. That's what I said. It's going to be very
for a playoff berth. For a playoff berth.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say to win a national champ. Well, to win it, once you get in, you have a chance to win it. But
yeah, you have to make that first. I think it's 12 teams.
I believe it's 12 teams this year. If it's 12 teams this year, they'll definitely run the table and make it pretty far, depending on who they get matched up with. If it's still the 4-team slate this year,
they can still. I think they have a shot still.
It depends who they get matched up with if it's 14 playoff. Because if they run into Alabama, I don't like their chances.
No. I'm saying they're gonna. If it's 4 teams, I think they'll still make the 4 teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They have a shot.
Absolutely. And that now brings us to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Last year, they went 4-6. Key games this season include Houston, at Texas, and at Oklahoma. Look, they got some tough road games.
I was listening to those teams you were saying.
They do have a group of seniors though that they call the super seniors, and it's a little cliche. I don't know why they're doing this, but this is the Big 12, so I guess anything goes, and it is Texas. So I mean, I guess everything's got to be bigger and better in Texas, especially at Texas Tech. So I mean, do you think these super seniors live up to the hype?
As cliche as it sounds, probably not. If you give yourself that kind of name, you better show up and produce. Otherwise, you're gonna look like a fool. So if you show up, all's good. I don't know if they're gonna show up because that's some tough games, and you guys weren't exactly that great last season. So
bingo. And my thing is that, like, first and foremost, now that they're calling themselves this, I need to look at your 2020 scores. Like, what did your offense do in 2020? Because, like I said, this is the Big 12. We got to score points.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, not too bad. Oh, wait. Oh.
That's a whole cycle of a roller coaster of emotions right there.
I know.
Roller coaster.
I mean, look,
Highs and lows.
they pushed they pushed Texas, but lost to them 56-63 in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
They lost by 10 to Kansas State. They only scored 21 points. They lost to Iowa State. They only scored 15-31. They lost to Oklahoma and only scored 28, while Oklahoma scored 62. They lost to Oklahoma State and they scored 44. And Oklahoma State scored 50. So, I mean, if you want to find the silver lining, Texas Tech has the potential to score 50 and 60 a week, but the inconsistencies still persist, where in some of these games they don't score more than 20.
Yeah, you got to score more than 21.
Exactly.
More than 28 probably to win a game in the Big 12. And like how I said, your emotions were a roller coaster reacting to those stats. That was pretty much their season in a nutshell.
Exactly. Yeah. Like,
that was a roller coaster.
See, here's my thing. There is no excuse as to why you score 56 and lose to Texas, but then you come out at the end of the season and you only score 16 on senior day and beat Kansas.
You said score 16 and beat Kansas.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go one further for you. There's no excuse as to why you scored 44 and lost to Oklahoma State the week before on Thanksgiving weekend, and then the week after you play Kansas and you win 16-13. That is not. That's. Go ahead.
I said that's a roller coaster season right there.
Exactly. Like, and if for the super seniors, there needs to be consistency in scoring.
Well, if you put up if you hold a team to 13 one week, but 60 another week, that's also telling of your defense, the defense side of the ball too.
Yeah.
So the inconsistencies are on both sides of the field. So it's just not super seniors too. The defense you got to look at too to go play so well against Kansas, but then do that to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and see, the beautiful thing for it is help is coming for Texas Tech's offense. They get Tyler Show. I want to say Slough, but it's Tyler Shao from Oregon. He's a transfer from Oregon, so he's used to running these fast-paced spread offenses. The Big 12 will be no different for him. So you got to have confidence that he'll fare pretty well in the Big 12. I think Texas Tech can have a good season if they are able to find consistency on offense and defense. If they show they have the potential to do it on offense and score like 50, 60 points every other
they have
week.
they have the potential to score that much and compete, but a whole team is no good without consistency.
The defense,
the whole team, I'm saying, yeah. Continue.
And
my bad.
You're good. And I mean, like the defense here has to be able to close, or in those key moments, they have to be able to get stops. Because I mean, look, it's the Big 12. Teams are going to score 40, 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
If Texas Tech can manage to get at least one stop, they have a chance.
Timely stops, yeah. If you get timely stops, you've got chances in every game.
Exactly. Because I mean, look, you're looking at two overtime losses? No, two losses in games where you put up 40 or 50 plus. If you can get at least one stop or one or two stops in those games, you win.
Let me ask you something. How many of those super seniors, using air quotes or whatever, how many of those super seniors played defense? out of curiosity?
You know what? That's a good question.
Because I know it's kind of like what FSU and the ACC. Your defense especially plays more consistent and like get more timely stops with experience. They learn from their mistakes most of the time to learn how to not like collapse and get those timely stops they need to win a game. So if there's enough of the super seniors or whatever on the defense, maybe they have a shot at playing more consistent on the defensive end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So because the NCAA gave a blanket year to these guys because of COVID, 9 of the 17 seniors that played last year will be coming back.
But how many of those are defense?
You
don't know if you don't know, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not exactly 100% sure as far as that number goes. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. But if there's 9, coming back, that has to mean there's at least 6 on the defense.
Yeah.
At the most 6 on the defense.
And then you have to include the regular seniors too.
Right. And plus you got to think about Tyler Shaw. He's a senior, I'm assuming, transferring in from Oregon.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. But enough about Texas Tech. We're now on to the TCU Horned Frogs. Last year they went 6-4. Key games include Cal versus Baylor, which used to be a fun game between these two, and at Iowa State. How vital is it for them to find some consistent offensive line play?
Well, for any team, the offensive line is big. Big 12, you need an offensive line to buy time because Big 12, deep balls, big time. You need time for the quarterback. The quarterback needs time to get the ball deep. So if you get consistent line play, that just makes your offense that much more dangerous.
Right. I agree. And also the team's slogan this year, the cliches keep on coming in the Big 12.
Oh boy. Let's hear it.
The team slogan is called "Make It Personal."
Oh boy.
So do you think they'll live up to that? They went 6-4.
Well, make it personal. What you making it personal for?
I mean, I guess they're making it personal because 6-4 by TCU standards, a team that's consistently been playing in big time bowl games. I kind of understand. So if you look at the schedule, it's kind of tough. I think they win the first 2 against. Well, actually, you know what? Cal's not even a guarantee if you ask me, because Cal's got a pretty decent quarterback. SMU, I'm not sure if that's a guarantee. Texas is a toss-up. Texas Tech might be a toss-up. Oklahoma's a toss-up. I think once you get towards the end, I see Kansas State and Kansas being wins.
Well, I was looking up something, and it said they had some pretty good momentum going to end the season last year. They had won 5 of the 6 last games they played, so that's pretty good momentum to carry over. If that carries over, they could make some noise. I wouldn't be shocked per se if they make a decent, win a couple more games in the Big 12, give some help to somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because they have some good experience on offense, I think.
Hey, look, they got to make it personal. And with that, we're now on to the Oklahoma Sooners. So last year they went 9-2. Key games include Texas and the Red River rivalry.
Yeah,
that's a tongue twister. Iowa State at home and Bedlam against Oklahoma State.
Where is it? Is Bedlam it Oklahoma or Oklahoma State?
Bedlam at Oklahoma State.
Ooh, that's gonna be a fun one then.
So let me ask you this: is Spencer Rattler a Heisman contender? Well, he is. Do you think he'll win it?
Well, I think there's some good names this season. I think he has a good shot at winning it if he plays like pretty consistent or whatever. That offense, Lincoln Riley's still at the helm. He enjoys his time at Oklahoma, so the offense is always going to be dangerous. So I won't be surprised if he actually does win it. I mean, Oklahoma's put out some guys. I think what Baker wanted, then Kyler Murray wanted, and then Jalen Hurts I think placed I think it was third. Did he place third or second?
Ooh.
The year Joe Burrow won.
I think he was like third.
Jalen Hurts was a Heisman contender that season with Lincoln Riley.
I think he was third.
Yeah, it was that was Tua was second. Tua or Trevor?
I cannot remember off the top of my head, but I do know Tua was in there too.
So Tua was second, Joe Burrow was first.
Okay. But yeah, you're right. I
think he has a good shot at winning it. He'd be the favorite, in my opinion.
His competition is honestly going to be Sam Howell and
what's the guy from USC? I forgot.
Brock Purdy at Iowa State.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd say the guy from USC. I forgot his name now. He has a weird name. For some reason, USC quarterbacks, they find their way in.
Oh, Brett Aoki.
I don't know if that's his name. I can't remember. But I know
I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Or Keaton Slovis.
Yeah, that guy. That's the guy's name.
Oh, okay. Keaton Slovis. See, I think, Keaton Slovis, Spencer Rattler, Brock Purdy, and Sam Howell. Those are all the guys.
Yeah, but I put Rattler's going to probably be the favorite. I think he's like the favorite to go number one right now, actually.
Really?
In the draft, I mean. Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of guys are saying he's first, projected first. Sam Howell's right behind him, and then Slovis.
Interesting.
I haven't been seeing it's kind of disrespectful to Purdy, but I don't know why, but he's not too much in it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I feel like Purdy
will probably focus on Oklahoma in the season, not the draft, looking too far ahead. Preseason still. Get back on track.
Do you think the Sooners go ahead.
No, ask your question, my bad.
I was gonna say, do you think the Sooners have the potential to get back to the playoffs?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this year they have one of the better defenses. Last year the defense wasn't actually that bad, I don't think. This year I think they added some more guys. So I think their defense make another step. You got Rattler this season coming in, so I think that offense is still going to be good. I think they'll be contending.
Even though Florida claimed they were not motivated to play the Cotton Bowl, I think it was a strong enough showing and a morale booster for Oklahoma to kind of show, like we can play with an SEC team and we can beat an SEC team. So I think that's a lot of momentum that they carried over into the fall for this year. So I mean, I think honestly, that Iowa State game is going to say a lot.
Yeah, like we said earlier.
I really think it is.
It's in Oklahoma, I think. So yeah.
It is. It's in Norman. It's going to most likely be a Saturday night game.
What week is it? Or it doesn't say yet. Because if it's at the beginning of the season, but if it's at the end of the season, it's gonna be it's gonna be like big time no matter what, like pressure wise and impact on both of their seasons. But if it's toward that end of the season and both of them playing for that, like if they both have like one loss or whatever, just saying.
I think they both meet undefeated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying like if like one of them gets like an extra loss, I might potentially knock them out if it was still 14 playoffs or whatever. So that like impact their standings for the playoffs or whatnot.
That game is November 20th, the week before Thanksgiving.
Ooh, that should be a fun one.
It's going to be a lot riding on that one.
Yep.
Oklahoma's going to have to survive Texas and a couple other teams before they can worry about Iowa State. So
They play
we'll
like
see.
Texas every year.
Of course, Red River rivalry.
Yep. That game always has its whole pressure mount on it. So they're going to have a tough schedule. But I think they're still going to be good. The Oklahoma fans got a lot going for them right now in that team.
Truth. And that brings us now to the Kansas State Wildcats. Last year they went 4-6. Key games this year include Stanford, Oklahoma, and at Texas. Look, I don't know what to make of these guys. You know, is there anyone out there that they might be able to upset? Because I mean, they've done it before. They did it last year, actually.
I mean, they have potential, I guess, to upset anybody, but I have no idea. To be real with you, I got no idea. They have the potential to upset somebody, no doubt.
I mean, look, I believe it was last year they took out Oklahoma. They weren't that great.
Yeah, but I think they're still pretty young, if I'm not mistaken. Like they're more reloading.
Yeah. They, like I said, they have to find consistency when it comes to scoring. Their problem is almost the same as Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Where they have to find consistency scoring as an offense. And I think, you know, when they do that, they'll have a chance. But for now, I mean, and we are now on to the Baylor Bears. Last year, they went 3-7. Key games this year include Iowa State versus BYU and versus Oklahoma. So I'm honestly looking at 3-7, you know, it's obvious to say Matt Rule was a very huge loss.
Yep, for real. He was. I mean, Matt Rule turned around Temple and he turned around Baylor. So losing him, you're obviously going to feel some impacts, but you got to step up. Whoever got, so it's gonna. They're in tough area right now, so I got to see you. I mean, I got to give them some slide there from last season because, you know, COVID year, you had a new head coach, new coaching staff, whatever. That players had to learn a new system and a tough, hard practices with COVID going on, protocols. So you got to give them some slack. They lost Charlie Brewer. I know that. He went to, I think, Utah or Utah State. I don't remember which one. But I know they lost Charlie Brewer. He was pretty good for them back with Matt Rule, but losing him kind of gave them a tough lot, make it tougher, I should say. So you got to give them some slack, but they're going to be young. It's going to be a tough season, I think, probably for them. But I think they could they have like, it's a young team. You never know what's going to happen. They might come out and they might just completely upset somebody.
Right. Yeah, they might completely upset somebody. I'm with you there. I can and with that, folks, from now on to the Texas Longhorns. Last year they went 7-3. Key games this year at Arkansas versus Oklahoma, at Iowa State. So, you know, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but the one person I'm looking at to replace Sam Ehlinger is definitely this guy, Casey Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good replacement. Showed out in the bowl game. In some perspective, looked a little bit better than Sam Ehlinger. Looks like he brings a little bit more to the table. I know a lot of Longhorn fans don't want to hear that, but it might be the truth. Maybe with a guy like Steve Sarkisian.
Well, what do I think about Sarkisian? Well, Casey Thompson, I think, is going to do good this season, but they have a good running back. But Sarkisian, I gotta see it to believe it was Sarkisian because he's had his moments of aptitude. So I'll see it when I believe it was him. I'll give him a slide last year, COVID year, whatever.
I'm gonna say this in Sarkisian's defense: the NFL is different from college football. I don't think he was ready for the NFL. And I think he went to Tuscaloosa to get his mind right.
Well, that's all coaches that blow out in the NFL. Bill O'Brien. Just saying.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'll see.
Nick Saban magic.
We'll see. I mean, hopefully it sprinkles and rubs off a little bit on Sarkisian. Hopefully what happened for Ole Miss with Kiffin happens at Texas with Sarkisian, and that offense can be like explosive.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
That Falcons offense he was running in the NFL, it was good. It's just, I think you're right. College football is different than the NFL, so hopefully he does good this time with Texas. I think Texas will be all right. They're just gonna have that transition period with Casey Thompson, but once he gets going with Robinson, I think he's the running back's last name. I think they'll be good.
Yeah, and one last thing before we move on to Oklahoma State is you got to remember this about Texas. A lot of people talk trash about Texas and talk down on Texas, but to a lot of people in that Big 12, and even back to the days of the old Southwestern Conference and the Big 8, Texas is everyone's Super Bowl. Beating Texas can make your season.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth.
No denying that.
And that's going to bring us now to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Mike Riley and the guys. Or no, my bad. Mike Gundy. I'm sorry. Mike Gundy and the boys. Last year they went 8-3. Key games include a game at Texas, at Iowa State, and Bedlam against Oklahoma. So, they lost two key guys to their offense. They lost Tylan Wallace and Chuba Hubbard.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm kind of expecting a little bit of a drop back this year from Oklahoma State. I don't think that they go 8-3 this year because of those two losses.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had presumably really one of the best wide receivers in the Big 12. And on top of that, you have one of the better you had probably the best running back in the Big 12 as well. And both are gone.
Yeah. I mean, that's to be expected. You lose some good talent like that, some great talent like that, I should say. You're going to expect a drop from the whole team, but unless they got like some even better guy just waiting in the wings to take over. I don't know about that, but like.
I think they do, but I think it's going to take time for that, whoever that is, to mature.
Yeah. There's going to be a reload developmental season probably for Oklahoma State. But I think they're going to cause some trouble for some team like the Oklahoma Bedlam. That's going to cause, it always brings out best in players. So you never know what happens. It can just come out of nowhere and upset somebody. So keep your eyes open with Oklahoma State. Developmental teams always do that. They always find they have their best moments when you least expect it. So I won't say they're going to be like god awful or anything. I think they'll be good.
I can get with that. And that's going to bring us now to the last and final team on this list, the Kansas Jayhawks. Last year, they went 0-9. They didn't even win a game. Les Miles was let go because of a lot of drama going on. Like, they paid him money under the table for him to leave. Key games include Coastal Carolina at Iowa State and then their rivalry game against Kansas State. I'm going to tell you now, Coastal Carolina is going to beat Kansas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You beat me to saying it because I didn't want to interrupt you, not to say it. So you beat me to that one. So good job.
My thing is like this, who do they think they can even beat on this schedule?
Go over I don't want you to go over the entire schedule. Just repeat some of the names.
South Dakota, Duke, South Dakota, and Duke. That's about it.
Yeah. Duke's had some good games before, so I won't I'd say Duke. No offense, but I'd probably say Duke might beat them. South Dakota State gave some And is the South Dakota game in Kansas or South Dakota?
It's in Kansas. And it's not the Jackrabbits, South Carolina. It's like South Dakota, like a different South Dakota.
Oh, I thought it was the Jackrabbits.
Oh, if it was the Jackrabbits, they'd lose that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think if it was South Dakota Jackrabbits, I said like Jackrabbits gonna win that, but like I don't know which South Dakota you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, look,
nah,
I don't know if they beat Duke.
That's what I'm saying. I think Duke's gonna win that game.
Even if it was a basketball game, I think Duke would still win.
Oh yeah, I ain't arguing with that.
Golly, I really do think that this is a season where 9 games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I really think that I think they go another season without probably winning a game.
I mean, that's tough to hear for him, but this is probably a fact, like realistic.
Maybe they get South Dakota. They might beat South Dakota. I'm being generous when I say that. They might win September 3rd, but it's all a toss-up right now.
I can't even tell you a player on that team. No offense.
No, it's okay. I mean, they had one of their top wide receivers transfer out and go to Florida State. Like I really.
It's a dumpster fire, but
it is. And the crazy thing. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, isn't that the second time Wes Miles has been under the table released in the last 6 years?
Yes, it is.
Because I know something happened in LSU. I can't remember exactly. Something happened with him in LSU.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly either, but it was pretty messy.
Yeah, it was a messy departure. So that's saying something.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, look at LSU. They got flash time, like lightning in a bottle or whatever with Joe Burrow. They got so. Look and say when you least expect them to be good, some crazy thing might happen. Just for a point of optimism.
The crazy thing is, I remember 2007 when Kansas was running roughshod through everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went 12-1 that season. Like they were unstoppable. Like they beat everybody. Went to the Orange Bowl and won the Orange Bowl. They'd have been They would have been in the national championship had they not lost to Missouri the last game of the season. But I mean, they've fallen a long way from there.
A very long way. Jordy Nelson went to Kansas State or Kansas?
Kansas State. Aqib Talib went to Kansas.
Okay.
I know it's kind of hard to believe.
No, I was trying to remember for Jordy Nelson. I know he went to one of the schools in Kansas.
Yeah, that was Kansas State. State.
Yeah. I think we're done. Got everybody.
Actually, let me ask you this now. Big 12 championship game. No divisions in this conference. Who do you got playing?
Iowa State and Oklahoma.
I'm right there with you.
I think it'll be a rematch of that November game.
I'm right there with you. And I think third place goes to Texas.
Yep.
I think Texas is at third place. And I'm not, honestly, I do not know about what'll follow behind that. I do think the top 3 teams in this conference, though, are definitely Iowa State, Oklahoma, no particular order at 1 and 2, but I do think Texas is third.
Point up for those two.
I do think Oklahoma once again, by some miracle, because something always goes wrong, because I think Texas, like a lot of teams, has a fear of losing, that they lose focus and can't beat Oklahoma at the Red River rivalry. I think that Texas loses that game, even though Texas may just have a better team this year. But folks, that's going to do it for us. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. The first of 6 college football preseason breakdowns. Actually 7, kind of. But yeah, also to stay tuned for all of our other videos and everything. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. I want to thank Ace for joining me on this episode. Thank you, Ace.
No problem. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
Had
And
some
as
fun.
always, folks, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you on more episodes.